Do your old coping tools feel useless? Do they just not work anymore? The things that you used to do when you were feeling anxious or overwhelmed, do they just not work anymore? If you find that that's you, that's because you've outgrown them. I'm Cheryl, and my Heart to Heal method helps you release outdated patterns and step into an empowered way of living. Did you know that coping mechanisms that once protected you may now block your growth? So, I want to share a journaling exercise with you that'll help with this. I want you to write down one habit that no longer serves you and ask yourself, what would you do differently if you felt safe and supported? This is a question we very rarely ask ourselves. And, how different could your life be if you felt safe and supported? I want you to think about brainstorming small, heart aligned steps. My Heart to Heal method guides you to updated patterns gently, not through force or self criticism. I had a client who would isolate themselves when they felt stressed, and they thought that by doing this, people wouldn't see the stress that they were under. So, because nobody could see it, then they could pretend that it didn't exist. And by doing that, they felt that they were protecting themselves. But what that was doing was making them feel very, very lonely because they weren't sharing it with anybody and they weren't actually doing anything to try and combat this problem. When they came to me, we used my Heart to Heal method and we did some exercises, and they replaced isolation with gentle connection, improved their relationships, and it also improved their self-esteem. So I want you to ask yourself this question, okay? Which coping strategies have you outgrown? And what small supportive change could you make today? When I did this exercise myself, a while ago, I noticed that when something was bothering me, I would go in myself. So I'd go very quiet. And my husband would say to me, what's the matter? You've gone very quiet. And I'd be like, oh, nothing, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. But the truth was, I wasn't fine. Inside, I was in turmoil, and I didn't want to share that with him because I didn't want to think him thinking that I was failing in some way. So I started to recognize that and to change that within myself. So I started to do journaling around it. And then once I've journaled, I found it then easier to be able to talk to my husband about it. I can talk to my husband about anything, but it was my own self that was stopping me from sharing it with him because I felt like I was failing. In the description, you will find a PDF called Journaling for Courage, and it explores and updates outdated coping mechanisms. It's quite a good little journal that you can use just to help you to get through some of these issues. If you do find that it's hard for you to cope with, to talk about, then you can always book a session. The first session is always free, and we just talk about what your problems are. And you'll find a link for that as well below. We can explore your patterns, your safety, and your effectiveness. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, then comment your insights from this exercise and subscribe for more Heart to Heal tips. So that's it for this week. I shall see you all again soon. Bye for now.